At the halfway point of the season, Marc Methot is feeling comfortable with the new systems put in place by head coach Guy Boucher and is focused on grinding out the season.
I've been very, I feel very good out there on the ice. I feel strong, and I think with the new systems that have been put into place, I think it's worked to my strengths, which has been a nice change. And I think at this point, it's just trying to making sure you stay healthy through the grind and maintaining that high level of play.
Being a defensive catalyst for the Senators, Methot is loving playing under the new defensive mind of Guy Boucher and the success that the whole team has had through the new systems.
I can speak from my biased opinion, being a defensive-minded guy, that I love it, obviously. I think we're winning games, and you can never argue with that. And I think that I'm sure it can be frustrating for certain guys when they're not maybe scoring goals, but at the same time, this game isn't just about scoring goals. The ultimate goal is to win games and make it into the playoffs and make some noise there. So I think guys are handling it well, and we're seeing that it's working for us. And the fact that it's doing its job and it's producing, you can't argue.
Being the main partner for captain Erik Karlsson, Methot knows he has to have a defensive attitude that works with Karlsson's offensive mindset.
He's the kind of guy that requires a lot of support in terms of my defensive play, because he is so gifted in terms of jumping up in the play. The guy can defend, no question, but I do know that he does like to jump up a lot, and you got to learn to be in the right places. And when you play at a high level or a high tempo game like that, the way he does, it almost has to trickle down, and I got to try to replicate that as well. I got to be in all those right spots for him when he wants to use me. And but I think, again, that just comes with experience, and I've been able to play with him now for quite a few years, so it's allowed us to build a lot of
through it. Here's Carrier back the other way. Carrier, a big hit by Methot, sends him down.
That's the old school Rob Blake hip check.
That defensive mindset led to the famous Marc Methot hip check that we all know and love. There is no question he loves it just as much as the fans.
It's all about timing. I think, oh man, I started doing it in junior a little bit. I'd kind of horse around in practice, and I'd catch guys off guard very slowly. I wouldn't hit them the way I would in a game right now, but it's all about timing, like you mentioned. And I think that having confidence, because you really do look stupid if you miss a guy, but it's all about goading him. Like I know yesterday in the game, I was able to, or against Buffalo, I was able to force him down the wall, and I was able to do that because he's got a ton of speed, and these forwards need to think that they're going to burn you wide. When you have very good gap and you're right up on top of them, you can almost never land one. But it happens on quick transitions where guys build speed and they think they have a step on you, and if you're a good enough skater that you can swing your hip out far enough, you can catch them. And fans love it. I do. I mean, you don't really have to make that hit all the time. It can be effective, but for more than anything, I think it's just people enjoy seeing it, and it's a fun part to watch of the game.
Growing up in Ottawa and playing with Canada in the CCHL before then moving on to London in the OHL, Methot really appreciated the hard work that his parents did to get him where he is now.
I know that my dad was a huge part of that for me personally. I should say both my parents, but I say my father because he coached me quite a bit in minor hockey. And it wasn't because of the coaching, but I think more because he pushed me enough, even through those uncomfortable times where, as a kid, you don't always want to go and do a power skating school and stuff like that. And he got me into routines that I enjoyed, and having the opportunity to do extracurricular stuff, playing hockey or any sport after school is smart, keeps us out of trouble. And my dad, being a police officer at the time, knew that kids need good distractions, and that was something that he instilled into my brother and I. And I had the chance to do all kinds of skating when I was younger, and I think that really helped me move along.
With the new Vegas hockey team confirmed and the expansion draft looming, Methot is trying to stay focused on the current season and not let speculation deter him from his goals with Ottawa.
Yeah, I mean, the expansion stuff is something that puts a lot of teams in uncomfortable situations because it's hard to protect so many players when you've got certain players that have no moves, or certain guys that obviously have no willing to go anywhere else. And but again, it's an inevitable fact that you have to have some players unprotected. And if logistics wise that leaves me out of the mix, then so be it. That's something I'm going to have to deal with. But again, I mean, clearly is not something I'm focused on right now. We'll play out the year and see what happens at the end of the season. But yeah, I mean, that's the game.
With the Red Blacks winning the Grey Cup this past year, Methot would love to see the Sens bring their own championship to Ottawa and have the city united in red.
It'd be cool. I mean, you gotta give it up for the Red Blacks. They had a fantastic finish there, and I mean, you gotta just assume that if we were able to win a championship here, it would be incredible. I mean, I know that the city lights up and there's a great buzz here around playoff time. I've had the fortunate opportunities of experiencing that, and it's pretty cool how you got that Red Mile on Elgin Street and everyone seems to just buy in, and that's just the way it is in sports, right? I mean, it can be kind of quiet at some points during the season, but all of a sudden when you got a playoff team, everyone just seems to jump on the wagon, which is a good thing. That's what you want, and I know that this city, I mean, I'm sure they're waiting for one, and I can speak for all the guys. It would be an incredible experience to win a Stanley Cup here.
Being a top 2 defender and leader on the Senators team, Marc Methot will be looking to help the Sens to a playoff push this year in hopes of bringing Lord Stanley back to his hometown. For OT The Hockey Show, I'm Tyler McDonald.